Boom, we're live. I still kind of have my voice. So, yesterday, I guess when I left off on my live, I was supposed to come over to US Foods over here in Seabrook, New Hampshire, and get unloaded. So, apparently, there was a mix up with scheduling, and unfortunately, that never happened. I was supposed to be scheduled for 10 o'clock yesterday. And I showed up and they said, hey, you're scheduled for tomorrow. But at least at least we'll try to get you in, sit around for 4 hours and we'll see if we can get you in. Well, 4 hours, came up. I was there till what, like 1 o'clock, maybe 2 o'clock. And I got the phone call saying, hey, we can't let you in. So that's a little update on how my day went yesterday. Just to go off topic real quick. So I basically had a layover yesterday, which gracefully, the grace of God, I'm not getting $100. I'm not getting $250. I'm getting $500 for my layover. So I am, pleasantly happy about that. That technically that's what, 250 a mile for 200. So technically I drove 200 miles yesterday at 250 a mile. That's basically what my layover gave me. So I just figured I'd put that out there real quick. And yesterday my voice near the end of the day was almost gone. It's coming back now, but I think what happened is I got bronchitis from if you watched my one short, I took my kid to go his little league opening day, and yeah, there were kids coughing all over the place and everything. So I think I grabbed something off one of them. But anywho, let's see. I see who all jumped on in here. Let's see. I know I was a little bit late. CWCF Invader, he's in the house. This Trucking Life, he's got a channel. In fact, both of them got channels. Check them out if you're in here. Will Burner, everybody probably knows who Will Burner is. He's in here. We got some big heady hitters in here. T21, good morning. And yeah, so if you're in here, please hit the like button. If you can, share this video, and I'm going to try to get into it here in a second. I guess just to see if anybody else pops in here real quick. Just for the heck of it, guys. How's all your guys' days going? Any disasters? You got parts for that factory APU yet? No. I called up the place for I forget the name of them for that supplies the parts for the factory APU, and a rep said they would get back to me. What I'm kind of wondering, I don't know, it's kind of odd because if you look on their website, they're out of Arizona. If you look on their website, you can see all their products and everything, and I don't remember if you can purchase parts for it, but I don't think you can. I think you've got to go through a third party provider. And the rep said they would get back to me, and they never did. And I emailed them back. I maybe have to make another phone call, but it almost seems that maybe they don't want to sell it to me. Kind of like a contract with PACCAR or whatnot. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll try to get in touch with them again. Let's see here. Will Burner just said, Don, I tried calling you this morning, but the call wouldn't go through. Are you stuck under the bridge somewhere? Might be, hoping you forgot about it. Didn't see it, Will Burner. Oh, okay. We're talking about phone calls. But anyway, like I said, I don't know, I'm going to probably still try to go that route. So whenever I get in touch with them again, I'm going to really try to. I got Western Express trying to make a right turn here, and I don't know what he's doing, but he's got plenty of room to go forward more than make this turn. All right, he made it by about like that much. Okay. So, like I said, I was hoping they would get back to me, and they didn't. And I guess worst comes worst, I'll come to plan B. I wanted to try to make my own APU there for a while, but I'm like, just try to get a vacuum cleaner. I mean, it's already made, that vacuum cleaner I put up a few days ago, like a Jackknife TV vacuum. It was a total disaster. Um, to order it and ship it and everything. I'm better off just leaving it, already. Uh, the product that they sent me already had, I guess it's Insing back or something. It's probably just easier just to order it that way. I'm already getting it cheaper than it is in like stores or on Walmart.com and whatnot. So I might just leave it that and like slap my sticker on it and call it, I don't know, a Jackknife uh, preferred product or recommended product. I don't know. I might do something like that, like just to have a website, like a little Shopify that just shows things that can help truck drivers out, purchase this item. And maybe, I don't know, I guess I'll act as a middleman. I mean, if you want to find it cheaper and go find it yourself, I mean, that's fine too. But I guess that's what I'm going to try to do. Maybe find products and, or either that or secure them from manufacturers and then review them, give my opinion, see if they're actually worth anything, and just brand them, or at least uh, review them and recommend them with my branding. I don't know. I think that's might be what I'm going to try to do with that. All right, so we got at least 5 people in here, so I guess this is decent enough to get this party started. I know I'm no just trucking or anything here. Let's see. Let's go back to some of these comments. All right, Will Berber, I guess I'll give you a call when I'm done. I mean, Will Burner, you probably should just do it anyway because I'll probably be here for easily a good hour or two. I mean, depending how important it is. This trucking life, I got an old tri-pack APU diesel unit. Only I could sell you pretty cheap. It ran when I pulled it off my 2020. Yeah, I mean, I could just slap one on here, but I kind of wanted it. I already have like the factory thermostat in there for technically whenever I get around putting the Labasco heater in and everything. I kind of just wanted it to have that seamless, nice, install. I like some of the APU units I was looking to get from China and have made. The air conditioners, like you can stick them on the back wall. Sure, that's fine, but you can't find them in black. I think I found one. It's like a dark gray. They kind of look nice. So the other problem is the lines all stick out from the side. If I pull down, let me pull this over here. If I pull down that back panel right there, there's just some clips along the top. I can access back behind there, and there's about a gap, at least about almost an inch, maybe an inch and a half gap behind there. I could easily just drill 2 holes through that panel, run the lines just like a wall mini split on a wall. I could run the lines right down underneath the bunk, have them come out 2 nice rubber holes out the back and into the back of the truck for the for the evaporator. I think I'm right at that. I forget. I'm a mechanic and I forget which one's evaporator and condenser already. Uh, so, like I said, if I end up doing that, I want like a really nice seamless install, like it was professionally done. I even looked at a few mini splits because you can pick up a mini split for like $600, and I found a black mini split. I just got to see how big the wall unit is. If it's about as long as a phone, maybe 6 to 8 inches, maybe I'll just mount a black mini split right up on the back wall here, and the outside units, you can get black too, and I might just do that and just get a little generator. But like I said, really what I would love to find is a little diesel generator, but that's kind of hard to find right now too. Let's see here, wheel burner, and I'd be very careful about doing an install yourself on a brand new truck. Well, I would imagine if I did an install on the truck, probably the warranties it would void. Well, I don't know, because if you had an APU install done on a new truck, they would still have to drill through the wall and stuff like that. I imagine it would probably void your like paint warranty, at least on that panel that you drilled through and everything. Let's see here. Timothy here. Hey, Tim from Toronto, Ohio. Toledo, Ohio. Toronto, Toledo, Ohio. I looked at it, and I guess I just remember I was reading Wheelburner, so I thought it said Toronto. Um, yeah, so I'm not too worried about like even the fire hazard and all that stuff because I am in a technically I still have my I guess no maybe I don't really have my ASCs anymore. Technically, I have ASCs and for electrical vehicle electrical and everything. And I mean, I'm not like just some redneck just drilling holes through stuff. And I know about like wires rubbing and everything. So that's also you got to worry about that when you do things yourself. I mean, even if you did a tri-pack install, I guess you could still have those problems. In fact, I've seen those problems happen uh, where somebody will just have some random person install a tri-pack, and high voltage lines and stuff will rub through and cause fires and blow up starter motors and stuff on them. So I don't know. Like I said, if I ended up doing it, I wanted to be almost seamless, like it looked like it belonged there. Um, so that was a route I was thinking about maybe taking, but I really want a diesel generator. I know I can easily get a cheap gas generator and it's quiet and everything, but I want something that either I would like to get an extra cap. So this is how easy I want to make it. I would like to, instead of even drilling into the new tank, I'd like to get an extra fuel cap, drill a hole through the fuel cap, um, and get a 90-degree, 360-degree elbow and just secure it through the top of the cap, and then just run a line down. You pull the cap over to the side, fill it up, put the cap on, screw it, and then you're good to go. You don't have to worry about anything getting in a tank, drilling through brand new tanks or anything like that. But yeah, so that's how I kind of wanted to go to that. We got like 7 people in here now, so I mean, eventually here, I guess I'll get to talking about truck parking and the nonsense that's going on. But like I said, WCF editor, and so did he brought up my APU situation. So yeah, that's what my plans are for that. I just can't. Like I looked at a few new APUs. Like I even looked at if I had carrier or a tri-pack or carrier unit installed and everything. They're quoting me anywhere from right around 15, 14.8, 14.9 up to sometimes 16.8, 16.5 for an APU to be installed on this truck. And I just can't. I don't know. I can't fathom paying that. I mean, I guess if I technically the loan's 4 years. I mean, you divide that up through 4 years and everything. And I don't know if the APUs were still around the $8,000, $10,000 range, I would say that would make more sense, especially if you're gonna prolong like having the truck. And I guess if you technically take into account possible breakdowns and emissions problems, yeah, it starts maybe making a little more sense. But those are all what if situations. That's still a big chunk of change to just shell out. I'd rather shell out 20 grand to put another engine in my 9400 than put an APU on this thing, I guess. That's kind of predicament I'm in. But if I get away with something for around $5,000 or under, I would be. That looks professionally done. I would be perfectly happy with that. I know I've been checking out Ryan. If you haven't looked him up, I think it's Ryan Repairs. I'm not 100% sure, but he has his own shop now. He's got his own APU setup. He's been trying to build and do something with, and I'm definitely going to keep an eye on that whenever he comes out with that, because that might be a possibility too. It might be just cheaper to go that route than my OEM setup, because I think I could be looking. Technically half the system's already in the truck, but still you still have the unit to put in. I mean, I'll even install it, but you're still talking about piecing it out, piece by piece individually. So it might even cost more just to put the regular stock unit in than would it be if it came from the factory. Oh, let's see. WCF Invader. I do what Cash does, throw a home AC, and yeah, I know. I'm very picky though. Like, if I had my 9400, that's exactly what I was going to do with the 9400. I already found a small AC unit because the 9400 for some reason has a big And the passenger side, there's like a big area about, I'd say like yay big. And I was going to stick in a portable AC unit right in between there and run get that nice thick foam and cut it out and notch it and just put it in the window there for the exit. And that would have worked fine. It would have looked professional. I wouldn't have had to keep pulling it out or moving it. It would have been behind the seat, and it was black too. It would look nice. And it wouldn't really took up any room. And this trunk, if I had it, it would have to be like on the floor somewhere in my way. And I don't know. I have a little more uneasy feeling about. I know it's a work truck, but I just have an uneasy feeling about having a hose, stick out the window of a, 2023 T680 and stuff. I mean, I don't look down upon anybody that does that or anything. It's just, I don't know. I have a problem with, like, an OCD problem, I guess you could say, when it comes to that thing. Because, I'm also a car guy. Things got to line up and look good and stuff like that. So, this trucking life, what I did, if you get a portable AC unit, make sure it has 2 hose system. Yeah, that's true. I know they work a lot better, but now you got 2 big ass hoses, coming out. If there's a little more room in this thing, and I would have the ability, like, you can get these nice plastic turn sleeves that you can stick these hoses in and drill holes through the floor, and then still be able to close them off and everything. If if I actually had the ability to take an upright unit that big and stick it somewhere to where it wasn't like in my way or something, I would do it. I would love to. I wish they made portable AC units like the size of a window air conditioner, because I could stick it under the bunk then and just put 2 holes through the bottom of the bunk and then run that much hose out the bottom or whatever it is, and you would not even know the wiser. And I'm pretty sure I could plumb something up to even run it right through the vents, in the truck. I know they do make like RV bunk air conditioning units like that, but I think they're pretty big, at least when you're looking at them on the picture. So I don't know. It's like I said, I got to debate whether I want to spend money and have like a professional looking install, or whether I can save, a couple $1,000s and get away with it looking half decent at least. That's really what I got to do. That is very strange. If he backs up in here, I'll show you guys real quick. So there's a W900 that just pulled in, and he's got 2, at least I guess they're 200-gallon propane bottles strapped to the back of the truck. Let's see if I can't flip this camera around here real quick. That's the first time I've ever seen something like that. All right, so when he comes around, see the propane bottles there? He's got 2 on each side. He's also got regular fuel tanks. I could imagine 100-pound propane bottles being able to, support, I guess 200 pounds, I guess, probably, being able to support, driving a truck around. Let's flip this camera back around. Yeah, so I don't know. I just thought that was a little weird. It's the first time I've ever seen that. Let's see, this trucking life here. Let's see. This trucking life plan was to disassemble mine and redo it to where all of the under the bunk, and if a late to the and if it late to the outside from down, they're kind of like the internationals do. Oh, you mean like out the side of the toolbox door? Yeah. All right. So I mean, we lost a few people. I guess they came in here just to see about the trucking situation. And I guess I got talking. I figured there maybe be like 10 or 15 people show up, but I guess we'll start talking about, truck parking now, considering that's what I made the title of the video about. So now that we're in 20 minutes into the video. So I keep seeing everyone complain about buc-ees. People are complaining about some casinos that recently got rid of their truck parking. And I think Mother Trucker, Alex just put out a big video about truck parking at a Walmart and how everyone had their windows booted and wanted $1,500 to take the boot off. Here's what I have to say to that. You don't own that property. You aren't entitled to that property. Technically, unfortunately, it is our problem that there's nowhere to park. And places that used to let us park, and they don't now, there is a reason for that. One, usually we don't contribute to their technical, profit margin, I guess you could say. If anything, we probably cost them more money with having to pick up trash, being fined by the township or municipality, people smelling urine when they go park their cars, when it runs through the parking lots. Let's see, because I know you guys. Some of you guys can't get it through your head that maybe you need a bottle big enough to, actually do your business in and pour it out somewhere and get rid of it, or clean it or whatnot and keep using it. You'll just get out behind your truck and do your business there. Well, when I bring my kids to Walmart and stuff, I don't want to park my truck or car or whatever down there and have my kids come out and just smell pure urine as we walk into Walmart. So that's just going to be blunt with it. I have very little. I wouldn't say patience, maybe patience. I have very little patience and able to look at that situation and be like, well, maybe truckers are 100% in the right on that. I've always been able to find somewhere to park legally, for the most part. Like right now, I'm sitting here in the shippers, well, technically receivers. I'm not doing anything. You know what I could be doing? If I needed a place to park at this, or I knew my hours were going to get out, I'd pull up Google and I would start looking for a reasonable place to park. And when I mean reasonable, I don't mean the middle of a Walmart parking lot, the middle of a Target parking lot. I mean somewhere out of the way. Nobody's going to see me. If you look behind the Walmart and there's a giant dirt lot behind it, it's wide open, or a gravel lot, or there's a nice little tucked away parking spot way in the back, that's where you might want to park. Now, the only problem though is you still don't know if they might still look back there too, because who knows, the truck drivers that were there before you that may have gotten that idea, well, they just dumped all their piss bottles and their trash over the ground, and they still have a problem with you being back there. You look at some of these videos and it'll be like 8 o'clock in the morning and the guys are still in the Walmart parking lot, and they're in the middle of the parking lot. Some of them are very close to the front door. If you look at some of the thumbnails I put up there, a guy's like maybe 20 spots away from the front door. So of course you're going to probably get booted. It's just inevitable that it's going to happen. Now, it's all right, WCF and Beta. I was kind of waiting for like at least. Here, hold on. I finally got a phone call too. Let me see here. I'm probably gonna park. Hello. All right, I'm back. So that was U.S. Foods. Let's see, it took them. I was here about an hour early, so it took them an hour and a half for them to decide to give me a door. So we're gonna go right over there to door 20 and back in. So, like I said, this truck parking situation. When I did flatbed and stuff, I used to, if I could not find a truck's parking spot, I would either look up a Lowe's, Menards. Yeah, the back lock closed off. I was in an area that I could not find truck parking, and I would simply just park in the track, in the back, like I belonged there, and I never had a problem. Never ever had a problem. A little bit of habit there. So it's sometimes you just gotta take a little bit of ingenuity and intelligence and know that the world does not owe us everything. I mean, technically they do, but reality, we are the bottom of the totem when it comes to everything. And unless, I wouldn't even say that. If we ever decided, I would imagine, to go on strike, we already know the mega carriers aren't going to do it. That's just not going to happen. They'll be happy as hell because, like I said near the end of my last live, I think the way that government is headed and things are, they're going to monopolize some of these industries, and either through lobbying or just plain old, tired of freedom, I guess, or people saying what they want done with their own business, and they'll just end up giving contracts or simply pushing out the little guy out of the industry, and all you'll have is the Swifts and the JB Hunts and all that other BS. So let me go back there and open the door up. I'll be right back. Another big problem is, I would say, we don't have anybody actually fighting for us. You have OOIDA, which they probably started out great, just like I would say unions did, but they soon learned that I guess it was too hard to actually fight, and there was no money in actually just trying to lobby groups. It costs a lot of money to do that stuff. It costs a lot of money to get out there and get in front of Congress. It's money and clout are what win the game in that. And we all know how well OOIDA is fighting for things. I would have to say that the ATA, I don't know why OOIDA does not take some pointers from the ATA, which is the American Truck Association, which basically is the association that represents all the mega carriers. But if you see what they get done a hell of a lot more than we do. And all you have to do is look at, the past here, what happened with COVID and everything. Wow, lined right up. Okay. What happened with COVID and everything, and how Joe Biden and Pete Buttigieg went down, and I guess to the port of California or whatever, and represented all of them, and we're like, yay, this is what we need to have done. They didn't turn to the trucking industry as a whole. They turned to the big players. They go out and slide by tandems because I have a feeling that they have hissy fits around here if you don't follow their exact orders.
Like I said, on my property, I do what they ask. And I would have to disconnect from the trailer if guys just didn't randomly pull out and drop stuff. I would tell you that, because even at the one Tyson plant I'm at, they changed a lot, considering I guess they've had some catastrophic disasters at other places. A little chucked out. All right, I'm finally back. I'll have to do as I'm told. Let's go through some comments here. Yes, wheel burner. The one with the deepest pockets in this industry usually does win. And technically, OOIDA technically should have some pretty deep pockets. They, as far as I know, there's a lot of owner operators that still, they probably don't have the numbers that they used to, but there's a lot of owner operators that still pay their dues, if you want to call it that. But the big problem though is, even the services that they offer, I don't think, like when I tried to get truck insurance through OOID, it was not, you had a very narrow, rate of being able to be accepted onto their insurance. And then it was kind of, reasonably priced. But then again, you have the problem that you can't work with a lot of brokers, because a lot of people say it's because OOIDA rejects a lot of claims and stuff. And that might be true. But from what I've been told, it's because OOIDA rejects almost every claim. Every claim they get is rejected, which, I mean, I guess if you're an insurance company, yeah, you need to do that. But there's a lot of times these claims are technically driver's fault. So, I think the one I heard from some broker is that the driver, I don't know if his reefer went down or it shut off or whatnot, or he shut it off, or somebody else did. But, they didn't want to accept the load because of temperature variance. And OIDA jumped up and down, apparently, that, 4 or 5 hours of the temperature going up 20 degrees was not a valid enough, temperature swing that, that's all I heard from a broker. I mean, it's sorry to say, but a lot of the rules and regulations, they're all written out. We allow ourselves to sign the dotted line every time we sign a carrier packet or a rate confirmation. None of us really ever read it. And we allow ourselves to be put in that situation. And I don't know why we continuously bitch about it, just like the parking situation. What the heck? Just like the parking situation. Oh, okay, I think this is set on. I don't know why I'm having that problem now with the StreamYard timing out. I didn't have it yesterday. I thought it was maybe because it was stuck on desktop mode. But anywho, like I said, this parking situation, you automatically know that you're screwed. Everybody knows that when you're either an owner operator or a company driver. So while you're sitting here for 3 or 4 hours or 5 or 6, pull up Google Maps, start looking. My opinion is automatically assume, especially when you're getting out after like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, depending where you are, which I would say about 80% of the country at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, all the truck parking's gone to truck stops. Yes, they should. New York is really, really bad. Oh, New York is really bad. Yep. And the problem though is we know this, and then we just assume that like buc-ee's, casinos, and stuff, it's their right, that we have the right to demand the government, which we don't even really do anyway. Like I said, we don't have anybody really lobbying. We don't have anybody really lobbying for us. You know, so what do we expect is going to happen? What do you expect is going to happen when you just decide to randomly park on people's property? People that have already dealt with, obviously, hopefully we're not ignorant. At least the guys in here, I'd imagine, aren't ignorant enough to think that we don't throw trash, we don't urinate, and some of us defecate on grounds and stuff like that. What do you expect? I mean, buc-ee's makes enough money without us. They don't need us. That's for sure. In fact, the reason buc-ee's is, so highly valued is probably because it's not like a real truck stop, and 2, they know when they come in, that they're going to have clean bathrooms, they're going to have clean parking lots. You're not going to have a million truck drivers clogging up the place, getting in accidents, throwing their trash everywhere and stuff. It's just what it is. And buc-ee's obviously makes enough money to not even have to worry about us. We do not contribute to their profit margin. And if they did let us in, they probably would technically lose more money, and then they really made off of us. Either they would lose some customers because people would view it as a dirty truck stop, or they would lose in maintenance and repairs, the parking lot, extending the parking lot, extra taxes on the extra piece of property. The list goes on and on and on. So, larger diesel pumps, that they're going to start offering, more fuel for truck drivers. And then you got to also think, nobody really ever looks into, like, see, I'm technically a business guy. When I look at something, I can see that there's extra taxes, extra regulations you have to follow. Depending on the municipality, they might fine you for, trash blowing, around. It goes on and on about what can happen. And then I said also, when you do come in and you open a facility up like that, buc-ee's wouldn't even be able to probably open some of their facilities up, given the bad outlook for truck stops have. They're known for prostitution, drug, I don't know how, I guess maybe back in the day, drug violence and sales. Of course, like I said, certain bodily fluids all over the place, trash. They're just known for that. And we built that image. And it might not be you, me, or whoever's watching this, but there are others that do that. And I mean, nobody's willing to call that out. When I've called it out on my shorts and stuff, especially if I've seen it and I've called it out, I get stay in your lane, mind your own business, or who cares? Is it your job to pick it up? Whatever. That's the bullshit I get. See, Wilburner, the OOIDA is more figurehead than anything else. When was the last time you heard about a small-time owner-operator or small company being well represented by them? Never. Once in a while, they'll get somebody on and says, they fight, they did this, they provide my insurance or something. Instead, we have people like, what is it, Rick Santos or DeSantis, not DeSantis, whatever his name is, Rick James. come on, make some controversial videos, curse up and down, and expect to go to Congress and represent us there. That you cannot have the everyday truck driver representing truckers going to Congress, because automatically what they view in mind is what I've already said previously. They view a truck stop as a cesspool. And what's going on? This Trucking Reviews. Josh is in the house. We started off, we were supposed to be talking about truck parking. That's if I don't lose my voice halfway through here. And we kind of got in a little about 20-minute stint of me, trying to kill some time, get some people in here, talking about my APU problems, or lack of, or trying to get one, I guess you could say. And really what I'm doing is I don't know, I'm seeing a lot of BS about people still complaining about buc-ee's not letting us park, complaining that casinos are starting to kick us out or sell off property where they had, truck parking. Just everybody demand the government come in and tell private property owners what to do with their property. Like I said, I would say in the last couple of years, this industry has gotten somewhat communistic. I don't want to turn this into like a political and have everybody be like, "Oh, you're one of those people." But if you have a problem with it, I don't know. Like maybe right now I don't have the money, but I've seen properties all around Allentown. Yeah, sure, they cost some money. I'm not going to be able. You would not be able to go in there. If you think about it, yeah, I looked it up. I think to pave a half acre parking lot, you're talking about like $35,000 or $36,000, maybe, at least in the Allentown area. So when you start getting into numbers like that, what do you need? At least like probably 5 acres to have decent parking for truck stop or something. You start talking about a lot of money. Then you got to have stormwater management. You got to plant $45, $50 trees around your fenced-in property. The fenced-in property might cost $120,000 to $200,000 to fence in the property. By the time you're done, you got $1 million invested in this parking lot, and I'm not even talking about like a store or anything like that. Or at least $500,000 to $1 million, and not even talking about probably purchasing a property too. So you just expect people to open that up and be like, "Come park for free." Thank you. We appreciate you. Somebody's got to maintain all that. Somebody's got to, pay for all that. The way I see it, what I would like to do, if I could possibly get an investor, is I would like to open some of these secure parking areas. Some of it maybe possibly be long-term. Cameras, plenty of cameras, probably AI. I would like to have AI cameras that could recognize things being thrown out a window or something and be able to zoom in on DOT numbers and stuff, or plates. I would love to have something like that, because I would like to ticket them $100 for stuff like that. Even better yet, what I would like to have is, if you come into the parking area of the property, either you have a tag, just like Easy Pass, or somehow make up a deal with Easy Pass to be able to have it come right off your Easy Pass account. I'm not talking about like $30 or $40. Now, maybe if I'm able to, secure water and sewage and stuff instead of porta potties or whatnot, I would like to be able to, but there's just some areas you wouldn't be able to do something like that. Maybe you get charged $15 or something, and you have the ability to take a shower on the property. You automatically get when you come through, you get that, and you get a number or whatnot. You park in that spot, it'll come up on the screen, and you're able to go over to the shower and type in a number, your parking spot number, and be able to get a shower. That I would like to have, or maybe like a screen prompt if you would like to have a shower. It takes an extra $5 off Easy Pass or something. That I would see being something quick and easy when you come in and out, so there isn't a traffic jam. But like parking situations, everybody bitches about it, but nobody tries to actually come up with a plan or an idea. And it boggles my mind, because I know there are people in here that you could make money off parking, especially if let's say you bought a piece of property in North Jersey. I haven't looked recently, but let's say you could get 5 acres for $1 million. All right, you do about a $500,000 investment in the property, and I would imagine you could easily get maybe depending on the amount of parking spots, you probably at least put a couple hundred in, 200 maybe. We'll say 200. Now, let's say you, of course, I would divide some of those parking spots up for long-term parking, and you charge what? What do you think is a fair amount to park there in New York? By the time you get done with fines and everything else, I would say probably $300 to $500 a month is probably a fair amount to park. Have a dedicated parking spot that's secure in North Jersey or whatnot. So there is a possibility to make that profitable and still, basically kill two birds with one stone. I know everyone's going to still complain about free parking and stuff, but it's just you're not going to be able to get it in these large populated areas, and it's just not going to happen. Let's see, Bull of the Woods. Truckers have become the cause of their own demise. Yes, you're 100% right. They want to pick up they want to pick up after themselves and ruin it for the rest of the other guys. That too, and you know what? Not some of it's not really technically our fault. I mean, if I go down, let's see, this line of trucks right here. I bet you if I look at some of these trucks, one, there'll be plenty of guys that probably can't speak English, probably have no idea where they're really at. They just use the GPS and go where they're told, or they're Qualcomm or whoever overseas is running their business or running their, or 1099 pay number, whatever. That's a big problem with that. And in my opinion, I don't know why OOIDA doesn't go and try to lobby stuff like that. Why don't we try to lobby the source of the problems first? And we wouldn't have these ridiculous speed limit laws and all this other they think is going to cause safety. Right there is technically the problem. And I'm not saying that, you don't got people from, America that were born here and stuff that are total idiots. There are. Like I said, I keep saying there are some people that are unable to operate a heavy piece of equipment down the roadway. And they just simply shouldn't get their license. This isn't a participation trophy. It's a matter of life and death and, getting the job done. So, like I said, this is not really viewed as a career field. It's not viewed as blue collar work anymore. It's kind of viewed as, sorry to say, but like the way I would say certain political groups view us is the same way they view their help with their gardening and their wait staff and stuff. We're just, off in that little corner of, we're a necessary evil, I guess you could say. We'll get to WCF Invader. Let's see. I'm trying here, guys. This keeps coming away and going back, coming away. See, government should never face allowing truck parking on private lots. Many more rest areas, but the private property in my options. Oh, but not private property in my opinion. Yeah. I wish I could zoom in on this. I'm afraid I'll knock the screen out. Yeah, it's private property. I mean, I don't want the government to come in and tell me what they do anyway, but these properties already have enough people coming in and telling them what they can and can't do and how much they got to spend to be able to do, run their business. And it's very foolish considering the way most of us truckers think that when it comes to, it's almost like the last video I put out with the emissions. If you see the F-350 truck, rules for thee, but for me. Truckers have that problem of thinking like that too. Rules for thee, but not for me. Everybody else gets stuck with some of the same problems we do. They're just able to negotiate it a lot better. We have our hands tied more. We don't have any representation really. And I don't know. Even myself, I would not probably want to represent truck drivers. Not that I would feel that. Not that I feel like I would stain myself or anything like that. It's just I don't think I'm professional enough to be able to do that. I mean, I have some abilities, but I think we need to find somebody that is very professional, very well outspoken and known in the trucking field to be able to professionally, preferably somebody that was a truck driver that either owns a large business or that was once a lawyer to professionally represent us. Maybe even if we're possibly to find somebody that became somewhat of a lobbyist, or a truck driver that's now a senator. I think there's somebody out in, I don't know how well he comes, how well he's spoken or educated, but there's a truck driver apparently that became, I think, a local senator in New Jersey. Those are the people we need to look up to, and have represent us. Not somebody that's going to come on there and say we should all strike, put your trucks everywhere. We are the ones that run this country and everything, because people don't like hearing that. Do you like it when people come up to you like they're all big and bad and tell you that you need to lay down and just shut up? Well, I can tell you what, the government sure as hell don't want to hear that. Neither does the American people. They don't want to have their day interrupted by trucks sitting there. Like when we do those slow rows and stuff, we always do them on highways. All right, where just general normal people are trying to get to work. You want to shut down streets and stuff. You shut them down around the Capitol building. Yeah, but guess what? You're probably not going to be able to do that because Capitol Police aren't going to allow that. So there you go. Either you somehow magically do it without getting a large enough group together that you just do it, have it nice. No, I don't want a software update. Whether you do it professionally. I'm not talking about going out there with middle fingers and all kinds of stuff. You have nice posters made up or decals put on the side of the truck, representing things, and maybe actually putting representing some laws, maybe giving the actual law number that you're opposed to. And you go out there and you just simply protest, have a nice barbecue, go out there, throw pee bottles. From what I heard last time, there's people throwing piss bottles and stuff and everything. You don't do that. Nobody's gonna back you up with that. And like I said, the parking issue is more political and a bit business than everybody just hates truckers. Now, places that we've lost parking, yeah, it's because we are the ones that lost that parking. It was not financially sound. They were not making enough money. Probably the same thing with the truck stops. They were not being able to make enough money and still keep a profitable business and deal with those extra headaches and problems. It just happens. Oh, let's see, Stefan, where are they going to put them? What do you mean, truck stops in general or a place to think? Yeah, stop throwing trash all over the place. And when you see it, call it out. I mean, all these guys will come on YouTube and scream and yell at people and, talk about, fling shit, but they won't. Like if I've already done it, somebody throws something out, I'll say something. Usually 9 out of 10, they'll tell me to go F myself. Sometimes they'll actually get out and pick it up. Be like, look, dude, trash can is like 5 feet over that way. What are you going to lose, like 30 seconds doing that? And a lot of times they'll end up fucking doing it. Most of the time, they probably don't even know what I'm saying, and they just look at me and go, that's what I get. That's usually what I get. You know what I do? In the mornings, if I'm up early, sometimes I'll wake up before my alarm. I'll get up, I'll do my thing, get ready. And if I'm bored sitting there waiting, grab a trash bag out. I'll gather little tongs and I'll pick up trash. Oh, I need to walk anyway. Obviously this stuff ain't helping. But everybody keeps buying my Arizona iced tea, so. But so that's what I've been doing. I haven't really videotaped it because I'm not going to try. I don't want to be like virtue signaling. I don't. It's just I don't know. Like I'm the best of the best because I'm not. I mean, I've probably had stuff fall out of the truck before that I haven't picked up before. I'll tell you that. I know, for instance, probably with my driving career, I cannot honestly say I've never littered. Not like literally like thrown out the window, but open up the door, open up the passenger door or something, having a bottle fall out, have it roll underneath the truck and in the truck to stop and be like, I ain't getting down on my knees and that shit and getting it. So I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm the fairy godmother and I have not committed any sins in trucking. But this stuff has to stop. It's just going to continue getting worse. And all this builds up. I know nobody thinks it's connected, but the situation with the autonomous trucks. We keep having guys do stupid stuff. Go on train tracks. I've never seen it so bad. Like even the beginning of YouTube, everybody could put this stuff up. News organization stuff. If you go back far enough, you stop seeing it. But recently, you got guys keep plowed through on train tracks nonstop all the time now. Even guys pulling oversized. Like I can't fathom that. Like I used to pull 120-foot poles, and I would not be dumb enough to sit myself at a red light on a train. And even then, even on top of that, I would not sit there. There was a car in front of me. Guess what? That car is getting pushed out of the way. I already screwed up. Why turn it into a federal disaster? Sure, I'm going to get blamed for damaging their car and pushing them out of the way. Maybe get a lawsuit. But guess what? It's not going to be half as bad as if a train wrecks through it, takes the pole, throws the pole around, kills somebody anyway, kills the conductor and the train. Like, I don't get it. And then another thing, you don't have the guys even bother pulling the fifth wheel pin. If you're really that stuck, hey, you might as well save the truck. You're already screwed anyway. I just don't get it. Or to some of the guys that have machinery on the truck that runs. My opinion, if I was stupid enough and got myself stuck and I had let's see, a Cat D12 or something, or an excavator, guess what? That truck ain't going to be stuck very long. That truck's going to be pushed off the damn track. You haul a chain to it, you push it off, the truck starts rolling a little bit, the chain grabs off the excavator, and you ain't pulling the whole excavator along with the truck. I'm not saying leave it in gear or anything, but yeah. So I don't know. It's just like things like that. It just keeps getting worse and worse for us. Besides truck parking, besides the safety issues, I can go on and on about it. It's totally ridiculous. I got a super chat. Trucker reviews. Read my previous comments and where is my wrench? Look, all right, I'm not like super chat. If I had a laptop, Josh, right now with me, I could give out wrenches. I could show videos of stuff and do everything. Eventually that's where I want to get. I'm going to try to start this podcast. I'm not right now. I'm not going to try to start it, but I'm going to eventually try to start this podcast. And I don't know. I'm going to have to try to watch myself because I call out a lot of stuff and I get a lot of hate. I did another short where I called out the guy hauling a Cascadia in the back of a double drop or a low boy or an RGN, whatever you would like to call it. That Cascadia was over 13.6. It didn't have the tires weren't deflated. It didn't have the air suspension deflated, and they were driving it right through 309 in Pennsylvania, east of the Mississippi River. That like stuff like that. They pull down wires, they do stupid shit, and it goes on the news, and we all look like idiots. And that's how we're represented, like total morons, dumbasses. And I'm trying not to curse. And that's what trucking is now. That's what trucking is. We went from, maybe it helps that we probably didn't have social media and stuff back in the day. I mean, the real people at the truck stops probably knew how crappy truck drivers were maybe in the 80s and 70s and stuff. But majority of the public, if you look through old like TV news documentary stuff, they view truck drivers as a blue collar guy out there on the road, gonna toot his horn at your kids and wave at you and stuff, maybe help you out with directions and stuff, change your tire for you. That we are not that anymore. Instead, we are the guy that gets over in the left lane for 5 or 6 miles and plays snail races instead of the guy in the one of the guys just taking their pride and backing off. I back off, even though I can do probably like 75 mile an hour before 80, 90 if I wanted to. I back off. I let them pass, and if they're bothering me, I will pass them on a not hill, and I will save my 2 minutes that I might waste trying to screw somebody out of their day. I will do that. That's how I view it. I view it that I'm out here with the general public, and I would like the general public to not view us as morons and be a problem. But that's really what we do. We had that little stint right there during COVID where we were heroes to most people. What happened with that? Things went back to normal, and we went back to showing our true colors, I guess you could say. Let's go up, read this comment here. What comment were you talking about? I don't know how far up here, Josh, your comment is, but let's go down. Maybe you meant down. Oh, he said it's not a career, it's a lifestyle. I mean, I sure hope not. I don't consider it a lifestyle. I mean, I don't go home and well, at least I don't. I don't go home and like work on my truck the whole time, put chrome all over it and things like that. Like if you do that constantly, yes, I would consider that your lifestyle. To me, this truck is a asset to make me money. I take care of it, and when I go home, I try to do as little work, whether that's printing out permits or doing anything. I try to do very little as that as possible. Uh, I mean, if you're happy enough and you're in a situation in your life that you can stay on the road and consider it your lifestyle and actually be able to take time out of your, you know, actual job driving the truck and go see do things, which I have or I've tried at least. When the truck doesn't decide to take a shit on me. Um, if you're near Yellowstone or whatnot, go do that. Get an Uber, rent a truck, a Jeep or something. Car rental place. Go on Toro, rent something. Go out for the day. Enjoy yourself. Don't be cooped up in this truck, turning into a slob. Go enjoy yourself at least a little bit. Sure, it's going to cost some money, but it's going to save your sanity. And at least you'll have something maybe they'll be like, hey, look, hon, look at this, hey, she doesn't think you're sitting in the truck all day, wanking your meat, whatever you're doing, picking up a lot lizards or whatever. At least you're, accomplishing something. Get out, wash the truck, wipe it down. I mean, like clean the mirrors off, do something constructive, exercise, take a walk. That's how I kind of don't want to go into about how this is a lifestyle. I mean, for some people, yes. For me, it's just a convenient business decision for me right now. It was easier to get into than like when I was trying to open up an automotive shop and stuff. Uh, I had less. There's regulation, like I said, there's regulation, but I had less initial regulation stopping me from doing this. That's really what it was. And I get air conditioning. I get heat. I'm not in an auto shop sweating dirty and all day. Even when I was doing flatbed, I didn't get really that dirty. If not, I wouldn't take a shower. I could drive down the road and take a shower if I had to. So that's how I kind of feel about trucking in general there, Josh. Full the Blitz agrees with everything I'm saying. Let's see. I have a mini laptop that I'm willing to sell a Samsung running latest Windows. No, I mean it's not that I can't buy one. It's just I just haven't got around to it. I still need to get the T-Mobile hotspot situation figured out. What to do with that? Um, I'm looking at like a Samsung boom mic. I probably won't turn the chair around, when I'm on the road and do it here. I would like to be able to get a bigger shed for my house to be able to stick the shit that's in my basement in the shed, so I could probably cut out a piece of my basement and turn it into a little studio with a desk and office, like and a green screen in the back. That's my goal. So I really don't want to. I don't mind maybe half-assing a podcast, but if I'm going to do a podcast, I want it to be scheduled at a certain time every day. I want it to be very professional. Like I said, I'm hoping it'll be able maybe to reach out to either other higher-end class of YouTubers that are in the trucking realm. Maybe actually see if we can't get some kind of organization together, investors or whatnot, and maybe actually do something. Instead of just having everyone hope, these big carriers and stuff, hoping that eventually autonomous trucks come really fast and we can get rid of all these problems. That's how I view autonomous trucks. The same thing with pricing. Everybody just thinks I should be making $5 a mile no matter what. My time is worth this and that. And for owner operators right now. So let's say if you go and look at the national average of income, all right, if you're bringing home $2,000 a week after your expenses and stuff, you're already up in like probably the 60th, 70th percentile of high income earners in the country. What you do with that money is your problem, not like not the brokers, not any of that. And sure, we have a lot more cost, but I can usually, even when I was doing spot market, I could usually still bring home after cost and expenses and setting away like $500 a week for taxes. I could still bring home right around $2,000. Now, when it gets really bad, hey, that's why you have a little bit of savings up for some of those weeks that you might not quite make it. But for the most part, you're already up in one of the higher income percentiles in the nation as an owner operator, and even some company drivers. We have this problem that when we start making money, and this is everybody just about, we start, because I've done it too, we start making money, we start spending more. We raise our, we go from, barely able to make it week to week with our paycheck to now I'm going to go out and buy a new $40,000 or $50,000 pickup truck, get rid of my old one. Instead of taking that money that you're paying your payments and investing it back in your business and growing it to where you could probably just randomly write a check and buy a truck, you're doing that instead. It's just, I don't know. Like, I don't want to I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm just trying to be no BS, real. I've made these, I've done this stuff. I've known, I've seen it. I've learned from my mistakes. I know that I've screwed up. And technically, like I said, this is supposed to be about truck parking, but this all kind of plays into self-responsibility and just viewing the world as a realist. Things cost money. It costs money to repair stuff. It costs money to take care of things. That we know that. We complain about it all the time. That's why we complain about the rates. But there's a way you go about it that we don't do. We get scammed. We always get scammed. We get scammed through lease purchases. We get scammed by brokers. Nobody reads anything. Nobody gets a lawyer and read contracts. Nobody gets a lawyer and reads, go through carrier agreements. And you know what? Eventually, we're going to have to take a stand for that. You know why they keep going? Because people just keep signing it. If you had a big enough group to where TQL or CH Robinson lost half of their carriers because they said, no, we just aren't going to work for you because you won't, we don't want this in our contract, our carrier packet. If half of them, or even a large quarter of them did that, they would change their policies, or at least work around them to where they weren't so much, stepping on our balls about things. But nobody does that. Nobody's ever really read their rate confirmations or their carrier packets. Nobody does that. It's just, and it's almost the idiocracy just continues throughout trucking, where people, like I said, we turn into like a communistic, just assume we'll get the government to take care of us and hold our hand through everything. My parents aren't, and when shit happens in this truck and I'm screwed and I lose tires, I'm not calling up I try not to anymore. I'm not calling up my old lady and complaining about it. I'm not calling up my old man and I'll come on here and complain about it maybe, but it's just to show what can happen. There's nobody here to hold my hand. And that's the way it should be in all these trucking companies. You got to understand it. There's nobody there to hold your hand. And that we just assume that the government's going to come in and hold our hand and do things for us. And they're not. So why not take care of ourselves? I'd be more than glad to pay even $100 a month to an organization that I knew either would put all this money in a pot, invest it, and go out and buy property and start small little, still paid trucking parking, just somewhere near highways, or maybe not even that close, but just places that are easy to get to. That you pull up on an app, bam, it's right there. You can go there, you can drive right through the gate, you'll pull up, there'll be a little kiosk. Do you want a shower with your parking? Parking is $10. Would you like a shower? Yes. Adds another $5 to your thing. That way you can pay somebody to come in and actually clean the facility properly and take care of it. Boom, the gate opens up, charges your Easy Pass $15. They'll come on and say, I don't know, Elkton, Maryland parking or something like that. You pull in, it gives you a number to park in, you find that number and you park. Done. You come out, you get your 24 hours of parking or whatever, or 12 hours of parking. Come out, it scans the thing, knows you're out, you're done. You don't get charged anything extra. You know, it's easy as that. And also, we'll have a debit card thing. But I would rather much have it go through Easy Pass or something. That way, we don't have a traffic jam when somebody can't get their debit card working or something like that. I would just rather have it work or not. So, but then again, you might still deal with people. I would probably assume that you might end up still having to tow trucks off the property, still have to boot them and stuff. It's going to happen. They're just guys that can't get it through their head that they don't rule the world. Oh, I'm all going on a tirade. Hopefully, everyone's enjoying what I'm saying. But see, wheel burner. We are now a slow, lumbering, inconvenient rolling up the highway, showing everybody, uh, slowing everybody's busy life. Exactly. Uh, Trucking reviews. A bunch of them. A bunch of them. What? Let's see. Wheel burner again. This truck is a total. This truck is a tool that 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 I requires to do my job. Just this. I actually get closer to this thing so I can actually see. I would like to read it off there. Man, I don't know why I can't read it. Okay, just the same as a carpenter has his hammer to do his job. At the end of the week, when this tool gets parked, it's time to leave. Yeah, it's time to live my life. Yes, exactly, Will Burner. That's the way I usually feel about it. I might wash the truck. Wash it with my kid. Do something neat like that. That's about as much as I'm going to do. What I would love to do, I would love to open a shop, like certain shops maybe throughout the country that I know it's shitty, but actually have some form of repair able to be done on the weekends, and stock parts, like actual parts and stuff. I'm going to have to charge more to do that because I'd like to pay the mechanics more, but it would alleviate people sitting for a week, when they could be making money, at least on the weekend, or they could be home. I would even be happy enough to even give out like rental cars or something like that. I know that's a lot of liability there, but maybe I would just do something through Toro or something like that. That would be something I would really like to do, because I can see that, when there's a problem, there's a solution, and you can make money by offering that solution. And I would love to be able to do something like that, but I have these ideas. I just don't, maybe when I hit the lottery one day. But that's what I mean. I would like to be able to become big enough on YouTube and talk to the right amount of people that maybe at least give some people that are able to do something like that these ideas. Maybe for them to sit down and actually look at the numbers and crunch the numbers and see if it's a profitable business, if it's actually sure sounded like somebody dropped the deck on there, but maybe to see if it's an actual profit business, if it makes business sense. Because I'm sorry to say, but we're not going to get truck parking if it's free, and if it doesn't make business sense. People just aren't going to give us a handout. It's just not going to happen. Rayleigh, Spencer. I'm sorry, but I'm probably screwing your name up. Hey, how's it going? It is going good, as long as I don't lose my voice here. But we are pretty much just talking about, trying to really stay on topic and talk about truck parking and what's going on with this industry about people. We all of a sudden assume that people owe us everything. And like, I know our job is important. Realistically, it's important. It's about, it's almost, but it's selfless. If you look at a police officer, all right, a few years ago, maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, being a police officer was at least still, even though they hated parking tickets and speeding tickets and stuff, it was still looked up as, a professional job, somebody, they were still looked up to. Well, that's changed today. They're no longer looked up to really anymore. And some of that's their fault, and some of that's the media's fault. And the same thing's going on with trucking. And nobody can, differentiate that. There's a lot of truck drivers that have an ignorance problem, I guess you could say, self-centered. I don't know if it's just that's how come they end up getting into trucking because they have that. I would like to not. I would like to hopefully not think that trucking did that to them. I still try to keep an open mind when I'm out here and understand things. But so some of these guys, that maybe that's why they get in this because they can't work for somebody because they just have a problem. But still, at least they should have the IQ or the mental brain power to be able to view some of these problems that we have and be like, yeah, there's there you can't just start paving areas and have trucks parked for free. It just doesn't happen. Sure, we have tax dollars. We put a lot of tax dollars in through IFTA and stuff. And sorry to say, but that money goes elsewhere. And it's not really we don't have the lobbying power and the nobility within the media to be able to call something like that out. People will be like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Most of them just think that truck drivers are the ones pulling down light poles, hitting bridges. Lately we've been how are we supposed to be our if the tax is supposed to be paying for these parking lots and these rest stops when we're ripping down bridges. All right. I know there's insurance and stuff that's supposed to pay for that, but I bet you a lot of tax dollars still goes into that crap. Especially some of these trucking companies that end up doing this. Sometimes trucks aren't actually insured. And there's only so much you're going to get selling a couple cheap ass, pardon me, like I said, I'm trying to do this more professionally, cheap ass, white Volvos if the government seizes them for damaging a bridge or something. There's only so much you can get out of that. So why we're doing stupid shit like that and we expect the government to just have all this money laying around for, putting in rest areas and parking lots and stuff, why we're destroying bridges, destroying railroad crossings and stuff. When the truck rolls over, it rips the blacktop up as it gets pushed along and everything else. You got to have an open mind here on how everything works. It's just not me, the truck driver. Everybody hates me. You got to think about how that happened and why it continues. It's I don't know. Like I don't want to sound like the guy that hates myself. I don't hate myself, but I can tell that there's definitely a disconnect from reality out here. So I wonder if this live feed got messed up already. Let's see here. I got a text message. That's Capstone. They didn't give me an amount yet to unload me, so I don't know. That too, lumpers. All right, we don't really technically pay for them. I don't know why we still continuously bitch about it. It's a necessary evil, I guess. Really, it's basically a way for the company, like U.S. Foods, to do a tax write-off, and it's just there is a rhyme and a reason to it, and it is schemy, and it probably does need to be stopped, but it makes too much money, and I'm sure there's some kind of warehouse lobbying group or something that is able to lobby that and protect that more than our lobbyists are. And like I said, we can't necessarily have some regular plain Jane truck driver going out to Congress and representing us. You don't associate those with those type of people by showing our true colors, I guess you could say. Let's see. Come on with it. I saw wheel burner messed up a fuel pump. Wasn't me. I haven't seen wheel burner stuff here in a little bit, so that's. But yeah, that's stuff like that. Not saying wheel burner did it or not, but let's say I was able to get an investment and open actual secured paid parking lots and stuff. You're going to have your Swifts, your JB Hunts, your Western Express, they're going to come in. They're not going to know what they're doing. They're going to come in, rip your gate down. They're going to rip your fence down. They're going to back up in the lights and stuff. First of all, if I ever did design a parking lot like that, I already know enough that, how far away I'd have to put lights and stuff. That too, you have to pay for electricity. You have to, a lot of municipalities, you got to have parking lots like that properly lit. And then you got to worry about light pollution. If there's people nearby with houses, they might not like it there. Like I said, there's so much you got to worry about. Stormwater runoff. They might be like, well, all these trucks, depending on the municipality and how deep they get into it, all these trucks leak oil. We need a filtration system in your stormwater. Oh, there's another $200,000 and everything. You're talking about 2 or 3 years of just planning in some of these places just to get a parking lot for truck parking built. And people just think that, it's like going down to Home Depot and buying a hammer and you go out and you start, putting up a wall in your house. It's, you will quickly find out after you put on your addition there and someone that either calls on you or your inspector shows up that, there's a lot more involved than just throwing up some walls on a roof and throwing some wire through the damn walls and, you're good to go. It's the same way with things like this. And it amazes me that full-grown adults that are supposedly running a business like this is a business. All right. It might be a small little shitty business, but it's still business. I still got to be involved in permitting and things like that. They can't wrap that around their head. When I was younger, I used to be always bitch about how I don't got raises this and raises that, and why don't they pay us more for this? Then I became a business owner and hired employees. Then I saw that on top of what I was being paid, there's probably like another $20,000 to $30,000 that's being paid on top of whatever I make. Then you look at what kind of job you're doing and what the product and how much they're selling and stuff, and then you kind of get the gist of, all right, well, I can see why they're just not throwing $100,000 at me for cooking a hamburger. Well, back in those days, I worked at Jiffy Lube when I was like 16. So you can see, that once you get out in real life and you're open-minded like that. And I think that's the problem we have with the truck parking situation and just how trucking is viewed overall. And that's what I said. I would like to be able to make a professional podcast, get some big name heavy hitters that are in the trucking industry on, and even, like I said, bring in smaller people, do like an audit, like a financial audit, just nothing crazy in depth. Just, hey, do you know what you run by? No. Okay, well, let's sit here and try to figure out, what your costs. What's this? Hey, don't you pay IFTA? Oh, yeah, I pay IFTA. Hey, okay, let's figure that out. What do you pay for IFTA and stuff, and how many miles, the county. I would love to be able to sit down with some owner operators and maybe go over that stuff and just show people like, hey, as a business, you don't just get behind the wheel and turn, you can make it to a certain amount, but eventually you're going to fail. Eventually, you're not really technically running your business. You're not being as profitable as you fully can be. Either you're going to take advantage by somebody else, or you're just somehow scraping by. And I would love to be able to get a podcast and go out there and show that. Let's come on with it. Fighting with hose clamps right now. The hose clamps are winning. Well, let's see here. Are you talking about like your springy hose clamps, I guess? There was a way I used to remember to be able to take those off real easy without killing yourself. I can't remember right now. I remember I used to be able to do all that stuff when I was in the, an auto mechanic. If you can get a screwdriver in there, and if you can get a small enough screwdriver in there and go and slide it through the hole, I guess there should be a square whip, a small screwdriver, and you can kick it over the lip of the other side. You can pry it, and usually they'll slide down the screwdriver and open the hose clamp up. And you just hold it with your thumb and pull the hose clamp off. You got a nice little flathead screwdriver. Yes, make sure you're wearing your safety glasses or something. Sometimes they can break, and shoot that little like square clip on the end into your face. But I mean, just don't like stick your head down there and look at it. They're good for plastic radiators because the plastic expands. I heard. I mean, as long as you can use any kind of hose clamp. It's really what matters, in my opinion, is the width of the hose clamp. If you're gonna tighten it down like Hercules on a plastic, you might be, you could probably crack it or whatnot. Usually, the larger radiators, I'd imagine, these are pretty thick radiators on semi trucks and stuff. You aren't going to have that problem. But if you got the silicone hoses, you got to make them tight. This got a lot of pack cars got that blue silicone hose, and if you don't have those constant torque clamps super tight, they leak. It's whenever you shut the truck off and I guess it gets hot enough, builds up enough pressure and it pushes through. I don't know if the silicone is able to, it's not hard enough and it pushes through that way, or it just does. I've had to tighten these twice now on here. The first time they were like, it's like whoever built the truck finger tighted to these constant torque clamps with like their butt cheeks or something, like they were just barely hanging on. I'm surprised the hoses weren't popping off. Working on your project car. Yeah. I guess when I had a few project cars, I usually tried to find a nice stainless steel constant torque clamps and stuff and put them on there and make them look all nice and everything. Sometimes you get like different colored ones, like I'd get like the blue ones and stuff. But I had my Cutlass. But also, what's really neat, if you can find, well, now Amazon's pretty much, if you can find really high temp, I'm talking about like 300, 400, 500 degree high temp clear hose, braided hose. That looks really nice. I ended up one time I wasn't able to get a heater hose, and I went around and I couldn't find. Ended up going to a plumbing store, and I found high temp hose was the size I needed, and it was like 400 degrees, and it was clear, and it was braided, and I used clear high temp heater hose on my like heater core and off the thermostat and stuff like that. It looks really neat because you can see the green, the really nice green coolant flowing through it and stuff. It came out real nice. Yeah. Especially, I guess it depends, what exactly, you're doing off-road application stuff. Yeah, you don't need things coming loose. Yeah, those days. That too, like I could probably get into doing that stuff for a hobby again, but I realized that I would rather try to invest that into my business and into my home, because unfortunately, out of all the project cars I ever had, I think I've only had one or two where I made money off the actual car selling it. The rest of them, I've probably lost out at least $10,000 on project cars that I've sold after and I'm not even counting labor hours and stuff. I'm just talking about products and things. Edelbrock intakes, Edelbrock exhaust headers, Summit. Long lists of crap from Summit. Cars are a money pit, and unless you have the excess funds to like play that game, it's not worth it. It's a childish. Unfortunately, I'd like to say. I mean, I hate saying it's a childish hobby. I use the old school clamps on my truck. Yep. Cars equal money pit unless it's something very desirable. Yes. And even now, the way things are, I was going to try to go buy a G body because technically my first car was an A6 Cutlass. I was looking at G bodies again, and people are asking $5 to $10 grand for these just regular V6 even Cutlasses and stuff that are they're just trash. They belong in a junkyard. They're not. If you went, they're like restore them, and they're not 442s. They're not anything like that. by the time you went through restoring them, you would be $15,000 in the hole with it. That would have to be a car you want. And I mean, technically, if I did that, it would be a car I would want to keep. You know, it would be a sentimental thing. I did end up one year finding what was left of my car that somebody fixed when I got hit. And when I had my Cutlass, but it, you know, I was more worried about my business then, and I didn't buy it, even though I wanted to so bad. And who knows where it is now? Either hopefully somebody has it and is taking good care of it, or it's a refrigerator over in Thailand or something by now. I don't know. But that's the that's sad. Cars are not usually a good investment unless it's something very, very special or very, very high end, because that's the type of people that are able to meaninglessly spend their money, I guess. They've gotten big enough that they can afford to do things like that. And in the meantime, most people have gotten wealthy. Majority of the public are, the normal millionaires and stuff. They've gotten wealthy by investing and buying assets, and not buying brand new cars every other week. Now they eventually do get big enough, or they get dumb enough, and they start doing that. But for the majority of millionaires in this country, they've worked their way up into a field or started their own business and had fun making more money. That was their hobby, making more money, investing. Let's see. Yep, I just read that. Cars are not really an investment. So, well, we got an hour and a half. I don't know. Maybe I'll go 2 hours. It doesn't seem like my voice is gonna disappear here. But yeah, I would like to be able to, like I said, get a podcast going and go more in depth and talk about problems that really relate to this industry. And I don't know. I kind of would like to be able to bring on everybody, but the problem is some of these videos I personally cannot agree with, and I don't know if I can personally bring people on. I don't totally at least feel that they have some kind of value to the trucking industry. That's one thing I'd have to look when I decide to do this. I'd have to look and see whether or not I can value everybody's opinions. I know that sounds silly, but I'll give an example. So when that one guy that tried to start that whole trucking protest or whatnot in New York came out and did all that, some of his views, if he came on my podcast, I would probably have a really hard time, keeping my mouth shut and not trying to pick his views apart. And that's one problem too I have. When I get into some of these live feeds, I've noticed people will talk and automatically have an opinion on it or something, and I tend to butt in on people's conversations. I'll have to definitely come over to the problem. The reason I end up doing that is because usually what will happen is by the time they stop, or I know they stop, I'll already forgot the topic, forget about it, and I won't be able to have that insight to play off of that topic. And yeah, I know that's going to be very hard with me doing podcasts. I already can see that. Let's see. Come on with it. Typical millionaire is typical millionaire is merely, I'm like you, have a much fun as possible because this is life. Goes by fast. Yeah, money is okay, but a very small part of a good life, in my opinion. Yes, you're absolutely right. There are people that get way out there and will just try to get as much money as possible. Like technically, like Elon Musk is a billionaire. I don't think he does that like to, be like Duck Scrooge and I got all this money. I think he just does it. He has these ideas that pay off, and he ends up being like that. But for most part, most millionaires did it by working, their ass off and being smart with their money. It's not this,
everybody thinks they all inherited this. Now, eventually, yes. Eventually, if you're smart, you'll take your money, you'll stick it in trust funds, because if you give it to your kids, usually in a lump sum, it just goes right out the window. But you'll stick it in a trust fund, and you'll have the trust fund give them a certain percentage, or have to validate reasons they want the money and stuff, and show the reasons. That's how you start and keep generational wealth. Another thing, this isn't supposed to be a financial thing, but I guess it just turned into one, because I'm just bored, and I've already technically, I guess, blew the argument of, the government coming in and just giving everybody free truck parking out of the water. Another thing is, when people that are smart, wealthy people, they set up these trusts. Mind you, I'm pretty sure, don't count me on this, but if I remember reading somewhere in a financial book, was it Rich Dad Poor Dad? I can't remember. When you set up these trusts, they don't get taxed like an inheritance tax. It's different. You can placate the taxes. And so when you get your life insurance policy, your term life insurance policy, so let's say you did die. Well, now you have this $1 million term life insurance policy to go into this trust. Some of it will get in the trust. Some of it's maybe you mandate it to be invested. Well, you take, a good portion of the $1 million and you invest it in the right stocks at 12%, annual return, like the S&P 500 or something. You can have that constantly still building wealth and be able to at least pay your family members a decent amount of money and to survive. Maybe they might not, not have to work anymore, but they'll live very well. And that money just keeps growing and, doubling and whatnot. So that's the problem. People don't know about this stuff. People don't think about it. People aren't taught it. Schools don't teach this. And, like I said, you got to have a business sense. And unfortunately, I can talk about all this stuff. I will tell you right now, I can't afford to do any of this. I've had bad decisions and had divorces and stuff in my life that's screwed everything up to even do this. I wasn't taught this early enough, but I know it now, and I can at least, let people know about it. And I try to follow it now. That's my goal, is to do something like that. So I'm not going to be the first to say that, I am the be all, know it all of financial wealth building, I guess you could say. But I know it now. I would love to implement it. I just don't simply have. I'm still simply paying off. How can you put it? I'm not going to say it's my wrongdoings of yesteryear, but I'm still paying off problems that I've had years ahead of this. And I've made some of my own problems. When I first got into trucking as a business owner operator, I got some really bad advice about taxes, really bad advice. And I got caught. And I owe Mr. Uncle Sam a lot of money. And I'll be the first one to put it out there. I'm not going to, why would I hide it from anybody? It's just true. I'm sure there's hundreds of other guys that do it. Does it make me an idiot? Yeah, it does. Does it make me not properly know what I'm talking about? You can view it that way, but I know I screwed up. I'll be the first one to say that. Let's see, this trucking answers. The point is to have difference of opinion. That's what makes a show. Yes, you're right. Trucking reviews. If everything is always agreed on, there's no show. Yes, that's right. But that's the problem, is I don't want to, I don't know. Like right now, when I put up shorts and stuff there, Josh, like the amount of stupidity and hate I get for calling things out is almost ridiculous. And I kind of don't want a podcast to turn, like, I don't want to do a podcast and start bringing, commentators or people on and have it turn into a troll show is what I'm saying. I don't want to. I'm not trying to do a Jerry Springer thing. James Best, a lot of us know Jay. I don't want it to turn into that, and I even get involved in that too. Well, maybe not really. I don't really know the drama stuff. If anytime I go on James Best, I usually try to, if I'm not drunk, but I at least try to
educate some people on there and maybe bring some actual education into that live feed. But it's fun, as long as it doesn't get too trashy, I guess you could say. No offense to James or not. I mean, he's there just to have fun and entertain and do that. But that's why I kind of wanted to turn into that. I mean, there's time and place for that once in a while, but I don't know. I guess I have a hard time when I get ganged up on, like, by a lot of people, even though I have no idea who the hell these people are. It kind of makes me second guess myself and then look into things that maybe I'm wrong at, even though I'm 100% sure I'm right. Like, it's that when that many people gang up on you and troll you like that, you start second guessing, your knowledge and what you know and everything. Let's see, come on with it. The IRS just wants their money. You can set up a payment plan as you won't get in trouble. Yes, as long as you actually, okay, I'll tell you this, which I'm screwed up with that now too because of the awesome tax professionals I pick. But as long as you file your taxes, all right, as long as you file your taxes, guys, the IRS can and will not. It's not criminal to owe taxes. It's criminal not to file taxes. All right, or to deliberately try to hide stuff. That's when you start getting in the deep trouble with that. Is when you start deliberately hiding things, lying, things that are right out in the open, or when you don't file. Owing taxes is another thing. What I need to do is, like I said, I need to find out the exact name of the company the Spectre uses or used, get in contact with them, because I looked up the name. I forget it right off the top of the head, but I did look up the name, and there's a couple companies with that name. So I want to make sure I go to the right one. But I need to, go there and have them negotiate with the IRS and do all that crap, and then start giving them. I am making payments on most of my, debt from different years. But it's, I would like to just get it out of the way. I would like to pay. Most of my debt now that I have with the business, the credit card that was loaded up from the 9400 always breaking down and stuff like that. Most of all that's all paid off. I have some home debt that, well, my wife might have added to, but hey, that's what they do. But I would like to at least pay off most of my business debt, be able to swing the home debt, which I can easily do, and then tackle this IRS debt. As soon as I got no extra payments coming out, because technically I'm still paying. How about this? I'll say it this way: I'm still paying for that 9400. I was able to talk them down and get the loan like refinanced through the loan company that I have it through. I'm paying $545 a month for that truck. Just sit there with a blown engine. Why? A lot of people just said, screw it, let it get repoed, send it to the yard, whatever. Hey, I signed a loan for that. That's my responsibility. And to run a business, you can't just, that's not good for your business credit. I know a lot of people say credit's nothing, but you take other people's money, you invest it at a higher rate of return, you pay back their loan, and you make money off of it. It's simple. As long as you are taking a bigger risk, there is a huge risk at it. You can lose everything, and still end up having to turn the truck over, or whatever you're investing in with the loan. But like I said, I'm still paying for it because I would like to be able to purchase later on more trucks, hire drivers, grow my business. I would like to be able to get my authority. This right now, what I'm doing right now, that's in the beginning of this video, I had a layover. All right, I got $500 for the layover here from yesterday. That's $250 a mile at like 200 miles. All right, so I got paid to sit. It's not a huge amount. I could have definitely made more, but it's at least I felt it was, I thought it was proper for what I did work wise. The truck wasn't running most of the time. It's cool up here at night, and technically I'm not paying for the reefer or anything. That's all Tyson. So for what I got for that, I felt very well compensated, and I can also get my authority and stay on here and run this.
as a outside carrier with my authority and still obtain those benefits. So why would I not try to expand my business here, with Tyson? Why would I not try to do it through this carrier? Or, technically it would be, if I got my authority, it would be a brokerage for Tyson. Like I said, why would I not try to do that? And that's my plan. As long as nothing crazy goes on with the economy or something, I would like to expand my business, on here and, branch out. The old 9400, I kind of don't want the old 9400 running Tyson chicken and stuff. I'd rather have that be a dump, an end dump, and go do local end dump at 130 or $140 an hour. At least that's what it was paying last year. I don't know. Who knows what it's paying? I haven't really jumped on that. I'm sure that opportunity is still there, considering I have some strings I can pull. But that, that's my plan. My plan is to get my authority again and grow. But in the meantime, I have to take care of my stupidity, my problems that I made for myself. And a lot of guys that go into business, they don't think of stuff like that. They just assume that they're gonna buy this program or get this mentorship by a guy on YouTube, and he's gonna make it out to be sunshine and rainbows. Like, if I ended up doing a mentorship, you probably would quit paying for it, because I would tell you, you're gonna fucking fail. I'm cursing again. I'm trying not to do that, but you're gonna fail. that's exactly where I would put it. By the time you're done, you probably would not even want to buy a truck. And you know what? If you still do, you know what that would tell me? That would tell me that you're determined, you're willing to do what you have to do to run a business. And when I mean that, I don't mean you go and take your last $5,000 and go down to Lone Mountain and then take a credit card and go charge your $1,200 authority fees onto it for some company to do your authority. I mean, you have, $5,000 or $10,000 set aside. You take $2,000 of that, and you're able to secure a truck loan. All right, still have some money left over. At least if you blow a tire or something, you can, do something about it. Go in, learn how to do your own authority. It's easy. Costs $300. You'll be better off doing it yourself. You get your own BOC3 or. Yeah, BOC3. Yeah, your own BOC3. You do all that. You do your own IFTA, or you at least go into and hire a company like JJ Keller or something to do that for you. You pay your truck tax, road use tax. I would like to see somebody do that on their own, than just, like I said, just go down to Lone Mountain, slap $5,000 down, and use a credit card to pay some company $1,500 to do something you could do yourself for measly $200-300. Well, technically a measly $500, and then go get your own insurance and stuff too, like that. But that's the problem. Nobody's invested. They just view it as, hey, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna put a little bit of money in, and I'm gonna make $5,000 or $6,000 a week. That's the problem with this industry. And that's how come every time we start getting on here talking about how much we're making everything, everyone jumps on the bandwagon. It turns into a little gold rush and everything, and we flood the market and we dilute the market. It's like, it'd be like just financially what's happening with the U.S. dollar. We just dilute it, and then we cry and moan and want the government to strong arm every people because we've all made bad decisions, or we've allowed competition. All right, competition is good. When competition starts getting bad, is like, there's a reason. I'm gonna say this stupid, probably. There's a reason drug dealers kind of shoot at each other on corners and stuff, because when you start having over dilution of competition, and that's the same thing. That's why some municipalities don't allow like 25 auto repair shops in their town or their municipality. They'll have a certain limit, and that's it. And one of that's so to control, the view of the town. And secondly, it's to not have businesses constantly coming in and going out of business, and people not being able to pay their, have a dilapidated, empty buildings around. And we need to view trucking like that. It's a market, and we need to take care of it, and we don't. We just tell, and there's people that facilitate ripping off or hustling people that are looking for the American dream, and they flood the market with that, and they don't care. There's no repercussions to them. They come back, they repo the truck, and they sell it to the next idiot. There's some of these. What was it? Somebody was telling me. All right, it was an Indiana buy here, pay here kind of truck place. All right, I don't want to give out the name, but the guy knew I wasn't, I knew what I was talking about, and I wasn't, I wasn't going to be bullshitted. And we were just talking business. They've had trucks. These were internationals with max force engines in them that people had, and they couldn't afford to repair them, or something went wrong with them. And not all of them was the max force typical engine. Some of it was just simple stuff, clutch go out stuff. And the guys just simply put the money away. So they would get this truck. They would sell it to you for $5,000 down or $3,000 down or whatever. And then you're paying them, I don't know, $400 or $500 a month, $400 or $500 a week, something like that. These guys would get all the way through just about to the end of their lease or whatnot, not have any money set aside, have a clutch go bad, can't pay for it, and eventually the truck gets repossessed. They take it back. They pay the freaking $3,000-$4,000 to put a clutch in that you already technically paid for when you did your down payment, and they go and put the truck back on the lot. They clean it up and everything. Put maybe $500 cleaning up, fixing stuff. Might have to put a tire or something on, or if they don't, good for them. And then they go out and they find the next guy that wants to live the American dream and doesn't have a freaking plan or an idea of what the hell he's doing, just wants to hold the steering wheel and thinks money's going to come pouring in. And now that crappy truck, that crappy International with the freaking max force engine that they got from auction for $12,000, they make $60,000, $70,000, $100,000 off that truck. Sometimes they turn around and sell it like 2 or 3 times in a year. And that's the problem with the trucking industry. You don't see any other large industries getting into schemy stuff like that. And sorry to say, there's just no regulation to take care of that. All right, I could see there being some regulation, but the big problem is most people that get into those other businesses aren't that naive and actually have a business plan. And unfortunately, what happens is we don't have that, unfortunately, in our industry. And they have you open the door, right? They have you back into the door. And then they just let the reefer run. Hey, I'm not paying for the fuel, but still, like, what a freaking waste. Let's see, come on with it. A good budget is a business owner's best friend. Yes, one budget for the business and another budget for the personal stuff. Yes, that too. You got guys that come on here. First thing I've asked them, or they'll email me. Well, first thing is I'll be like, do you have an LLC? No, they're doing so. Like, you get an LLC and get a real bank account. If you want to actually be viewed as a real business by a bank or financial institution, unless you're going to some of these schemy, like I said, buy here, pay here kind of places and lease purchase stuff, you want to be viewed as a real business. All right, you get your LLC. Your first year, technically, with that LLC, as long as you can stay in business, that's a good thing. The longer you can have that LLC up, and your taxes are done, and you're able to show your profit and loss statements and stuff to a bank, the easier it is for you to secure a realistic, real loan at maybe 15%, 20%. This still depends on your personal credit. But you need to be able to separate your business and your personal expenses. In fact, there is something I'm trying right now that I will promote if I can get in contact them and actually do this. But I have some things to take care of first on my bank account. I've found a business bank account. It's an online account that will automatically subtract taxes. It has a separate account built onto this credit this checking account. It will automatically calculate it'll automatically budget your statement. It'll go through, calculate everything for business expense. You can go it's almost like QuickBooks but on steroids. And they took out the having to actually babysit QuickBooks. All right, and it'll calculate your taxes, and it'll automatically, file your quarterly taxes for you and everything. And this is like a checking account. You pay $15 a month for the service, and they just do it. I'm not going to throw the name out there. I mean, if you look for it, you probably find it. But I want to actually start having deposits go into it. I'm trying to know a different bank out too, like a regular bank. So I'd like to try to review their business practices first, and who knows, maybe I'm going to try to sponsor this, this brick and mortar bank and this online bank, because it'll definitely help, one show owner operators deal with taxes, and it'll automatically do profit and loss statements right there off your bank account. You literally have the deposits, your settlements go into that checking account. So there you go. There's your profit, and then it'll take out whatever you use on your debit card or pay out of that account. It'll automatically subtract that as a loss. But one thing I wish they would offer, though, I don't know. I'm going to see if we can get checks, because you technically do get the routing number and everything. I'm going to see if I can get checks for it, because you can order your own checks. They don't give you checks. But if I can get away with doing that, that would be nice, because I'd like to have checks, even though I might only have to write 1 or 2 a year out of that. That would be nice. But in the meantime, I'm going to have the brick and mortar, bank account also. So worst comes to worst, I'll have to go in and log my checks as a profit and loss statement. And that's no biggie deal. That still saves a lot of work that I had to do with QuickBooks and keeping track of that. And apparently the way it works, there's an AI, and it actually kind of better categorizes when you swipe your debit card. It actually categorizes it properly. You don't get those like random, stupid, false categorizations like the QuickBooks does usually when you link your account. But we'll see. We'll see that. I mean, that'd be something for the podcast, maybe, or maybe do a video on it. But like I said, there's a lot I got to do. It's actually kind of getting warm in here. When I woke up this morning, it was like 45, and now let's see what we got going on here now. Technically, it was supposed to only be a high of like 62 degrees today, but apparently this thing's saying it's 75 right now. So, and right on the mirror there. So that's that. I mean, we only have 4 people in here. I guess everybody's probably driving throughout the day here. That's why I got many views. But I don't know if Josh is still in here. This trucking views. Anybody got anything to bring up that would maybe be pertinent to some of the topics I brought up on this conversation, this live, before I guess I get out of here, because I don't want to bore anybody. And I'll sit here and just continuously bring up topics, and I guess you could say complain, or at least try to find solutions to some of our, as an industry whole, problems. But in the meantime, I'm just sitting here, just twiddling my thumbs, I guess you could say. So I'll give it like a minute or two, see if anybody says anything. But yeah, that's how I feel about truck parking. At least I know this live kind of started out a little slow. Hey, thanks there, WCF Invader. I mean, like I could easily with the new truck and stuff come on here and be like, I got a new truck, making $5,000 a week and stuff. Don't tell anybody that I'm, it's costing me $5,000 a month to basically have this truck. But I could go on there and do all that and be like, look, you can be an owner operator like me and have a brand new truck and yada, yada, yada. I got lucky. I sold my pickup truck. I sold a 2009, technically, Dodge Ram pickup truck with starting to get rocker panel rust and stuff, with not even a Hemi in it. All right. Just, half pretty well taken care of for the most part. It was, some scratches. I actually removed the roof of the truck and had the truck full. I was dropping shingles onto it, from the roof. And even though I had tarps, and some of the times the shingles flew and scratched stuff out, I polished. This truck was
in decent shape. I sold a '09 Ram 1500 with 200,000 miles on it for like $8,900, and then I took the money down along with some of the savings I had for the business. Like I said, I didn't want to go into the personal savings, even though we had some extra problems, and now that's even dwindling. And I put it down on this truck, and that's how I ended up with that. All right, and also I had established some kind of established business credit and everything else that helped me out with this. You are not just going out unless you have a large amount of money and just ending up in a new truck like this. I took a very big chance, and if I didn't have a direct carrier like I do, a direct carrier that apparently will pay me $500 for layovers and stuff like that, and make sure I get some kind of detention time. If I didn't have that, I would not even ever thought of just getting in a brand new truck like this and running a spot market unless I had some really good connections, with some very trustworthy brokers that I knew, had very good connections with their customers. Because now you're down, now you're going through what? The money's being passed down by two different people to you. There's a lot of times anything can happen there that could disrupt that. There's the money goes through a lot of hands. Anybody can change how they do business. The shipper can change how they do business, and then the broker has to. The broker still wants to have a life, and so on and so forth. Come on with it. Just on this hose clamp war. So how bad? Are your knuckles all? You forgot to add that in. How many cuts on your knuckles and stuff do you have? Very rarely have I ever done anything involving hose clamps that I can slip off or find that one freaking zip tie that some asshole cut sideways on an angle. It's razor sharp, and cut myself with. I've been there, done that, had all that fun. And I'm wondering. All right, I just wanted to check to see if because they did send me one of those capstone text messages, and I was just them telling me, blah blah blah, stay in your truck, we'll send you a thing, because I would figure they would be unloading me by now. It's what, 12 o'clock. I got here at 9. I know I've been to this U.S. Foods before on the spot market. I think even Hall and Tyson, and I can't remember how crappy this U.S. Foods is. But I don't know. I would figure they would at least be unloading me by now. I'm pretty sure I filled the dock plate. Hey, you know what? Let's see. I've been here just about over 2 hours. Guess what I'm getting? I'm getting my my detention time, which I kind of forgot now. I don't want to just give out bad information because I want to make sure I said it. I know I've said my detention time in another video. Is it $40 an hour? I think my detention time is $40 an hour, I think. Plus, I get stop pay, so I make a $65 off the stop pay here too. Let's see. WCF Mater. I ran into a big issue with the new truck. The personal property tax Missouri charges would be raised by $5,500 a year plus $15,000 a year in increased insurance. Damn, contacts trying out with the air conditioner hit it. Increased insurance costs makes a new truck unfathomable. They charge, oh yeah, some states charge property tax on vehicles. Yeah, I forgot that. See, you know what you do with states like that? I'm surprised Missouri's like that. Missouri's a Republican state, right? What do they have? No sales tax? I'm guessing Missouri has no sales tax. See, like shit like that is kind of, they tax you. I mean, not only do they tax you anyway, but they like to be able to tax you on something like that every year is kind of ridiculous. And then, I mean, the insurance costs. Actually, you know what? Let's see. I don't know about insurance. I'd have to see it when I get my authority. That I'd like to know. But I pay $460 a month for bobtail insurance on this. Um, Now, I think I don't think I break down insurance. I don't have tow insurance because or rental on here because if I get rental, they're not going to let me run anyway. Um, because then I have they want sticker, they want they have to put the new truck on. I have to do another lease. They're not going to do all that, for a couple of weeks or whatever. I mean, I guess if it turns into something that's really prolonged, they would maybe allow it. But I don't have any of that. I have a pretty much basic bobtail policy that covers the truck, and, for the value and stuff, and that's about it. And I pay like 480 or 465 or something like that through Progressive. But I also have personal car, and I think I get a discount with that too through Progressive. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I actually have to get a hold of them because they're pulling the money out of my personal account. And even though twice now I've sent them the paperwork to change it. I don't know what the hell they're doing with that. Um, that I probably should try to get done here. See, come on with it with his hose clamp fight. No cut knuckles today. Had some arm scratches last week though. Yeah. WCF Invader. I can get a lot of repairs done for 20K each year, staying the course. Yep, for now, unless I find a deal on a used truck. WCF Invader, I guess you were trying to get your own authority right and whatnot. Why don't you, I don't know, it depends on how much money you make. Why don't you see if you can rent a space out of a small office somewhere, like in Indiana or something like that. I was looking into how to do that. I mean, you can't do what you used to be able to do and actually have the what do you want to call it, the virtual office. But what you can do, you can contact real offices or real realty spaces and rent out parts of an office to where it basically just becomes a practical, physical piece of an office with a PO box. So it's not really a PO box, but it'll be like when you get mail sent there, they'll just forward it to your house. And technically, you have an office in a different state and a mailing address and everything, and then you just go through your normal thing of setting up your LLC there and your business and stuff, and it just basically becomes a you're gonna have to pay for it. It's probably be like 2-3 at most. Well, if I was paying to pay $500 a month, it better be at an actual physical office in some middle of nowhere town in Indiana or something. But you can get away with doing that, and it'll save you having to pay those taxes and stuff. The same way with the trailer. First thing I would do if I had trailers, I would go do the whole Maine register thing. I would register all my trailers in Maine because guess what? In Pennsylvania, you have to do every 6 months. You have to get your truck inspected and your trailer, state level. I would rather not have to have my drivers have to constantly worry about that every 6 months, and especially if I had owner operators in different states. So why not have it registered in Maine, the trailer, and not have to deal with that? It's also cheaper for the plates and everything else. Truck went by, and I guess I lost my internet. I can see that I'm glitching right now. Missouri is one of the highest tax states in the nation. I don't know. I live in Pennsylvania, so we're probably not too far behind you right there. Right behind California and Illinois, where you add in all of your various taxes. I've considered that, but don't want to do anything sketchy like that yet. Well, what I'm talking about is what the actual mega carriers do. I'm not talking about the sketchy, virtual office that doesn't really work anymore. I'm sure some of these guys get away with it. But what I'm talking about is basically what the mega carriers do. If you I went up. All right, the one company I was with, it was called American Transport or Transport Investments. I guess they got bought up by an investor, so I don't know. They probably won't be around very much longer. Once investors start buying companies up, they just usually plummet them, pillage them into the ground. But what I did was, found their main office. So I was like, man, they're out of Pennsylvania, out of Pittsburgh, but all their trucks are, tagged. Was it Illinois? I think all their trucks are tagged Illinois. So I ended up going on there, their authority page and the Safer website, found out where the address was, found the shop, this little trucks, like just a tiny little yard. And I know it wasn't there. It's like a garage with a little office in it. And I found the number to the place. And I called the place up. I said, hey, is this Transport Investments? And the guy said, oh, no, we just rent them. We rent them yard space, and they use our space as a secondary office for their, because technically they rent the space. It is theirs, so they use it as their secondary office and garage. But it's only a decent one size, truck garage. So really, technically, they use it as an office. He says sometimes they have a guy that's there, sometimes not. But technically, it's just an office space where they forward the mail back to the company in Pittsburgh. And a lot of these companies do that. They're not technically, corporate office isn't technically in Indiana and shit like that. So, if they get away with it, I don't see why you and me or whatnot couldn't get away with it. They're saving money. You got to run like these big carriers do know how to do one thing. If it ain't safe driving, that's for not sure. If it ain't, having the fastest truck and the coolest 389P, it sure is saving money and making money. That's what they know how to do. And sometimes you have to copy their thing like this. If this works out and I can still profit very well off of having a new truck, and considering it has a 5-year loan on it, I might just trade the new truck in every year, because I'd imagine by the time trade, since I don't put that many miles on the truck, by the time trade comes in to trade this in, I'll probably still be able to get $75,000 to $100,000 for it, and I'll just put money down on the same thing. I'll just do exactly what mega carriers do. It seems to be working for them. I don't have to worry about the truck breaking down or blowing up or anything. And we good? I guess I'm just waiting for the lumper, I guess.
Check inside. The light's green.
The light's been green the whole time. Unless they did it really, really fast, I haven't felt nothing go down, and I haven't felt them go in the truck at all. So. All right. Yeah, nobody saw me jumping around, right? So I didn't feel them come in the truck. But yeah, that's what I would try to look into there, WC Vader. Let's see. I do understand what you're saying. One truck is not worth it, in my opinion, but yeah, it depends. It depends how much money. Well, if you think about it, W7 Vader, like you said, you'll be saving $20,000 if you do something like that. So maybe it might be worth it to pay $6,000 a year for that. Plus, you'll look bigger than you really are. That's one advantage to that. And it'll probably save you on registration fees too, I'd imagine. And it'll be easier to get plates. I know it's a lot easier to get plates through them, because, like, for me to get a plate through Texas was a pain in the ass. Illinois, shit. When I went to go get a plate through Illinois, it was like, or Indiana, I mean, just showing them the tax, the road use tax, and a picture copy of, I don't even know if I showed them the actual title. I think I showed them the pink slip. And they were like, okay, we'll give you a plate. That's it. Texas like wanted all this crap. It had to be electronic. They wanted an electronic title sent over in the system and all this stuff. And the place that does the truck thing, or at least by international, they're like, and you know, it's funny. I bought the damn truck in Texas too, so I don't know how the hell that worked. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty peculiar when it comes to like that's that gray area of the law. It's just like how the where the hell I have the green book in here. It's like some of the stuff. It's just it's way it's interpreted. You might have somebody view it this way, that way, but obviously it's interpreted in the favor of mega carriers because they do that. When you start getting more trucks too, it starts really adding up fast too. Because I'm pretty sure though, if you look at how much an appointment tag costs in Indiana or Illinois, it's probably cheaper. I'm pretty sure it's like $1,500 or $2,500 or something like that. Not $2,500, $1,200. Like Pennsylvania, my appointment tag is $2,500 for an appointment tag, a portion tag. Portion tag, and you know, you get 5 or 6 trucks, that starts adding up big time every year. Now the only thing you have to look at though is you have to weigh your insurance costs too. Now there might be a difference in insurance costs. It might be better or it might be worse. From what I've heard, for some reason, even though you have all those Chicago carriers and Illinois and stuff and Indiana and whatever, from what I heard, they're pretty reasonable insurance rates in those states. I guess because lobbying or something. I don't know. It's like not like going down to Florida and having a $30,000, $50,000 a year insurance premium. So, all right. Well, this live kind of fizzled out. I'm gonna go probably use the restroom here. So, thank you everyone for coming in here. WCF Vader, you're always in my lives. Thank you, Will Burner. We had a pretty big, pretty couple big hitters come out. Now it bumped up to 4. I don't know. All right, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll leave. Anybody, just go ahead and smash the like button right now. And if you're new, if you just jumped in here because I saw you jumped up now to 4 people because we were down to like 1. Maybe it's my internet. Leave a comment if you're interested in asking a question either about the topic at hand or about anything right now, because we already blew through the topic of parking. There's only so much you can say that justifies that, wanting to take people's property off of them and demanding they have truck parking. There's only so much you can go there. Hey, no problem, WCF Invader. I mean, sometimes you got to look out of the box. I'm not saying do anything illegal, but you got to be willing to do the legwork to save money sometimes. And it might be a little bit pain in the ass in the beginning, but it can pay off eventually. I'm sure if you even talk to DIY or Adam about it, he probably does pretty good there with where's he out of Wisconsin. He probably does pretty good there with his plates. I don't think he gets. I don't know. He's really, he's smart. He doesn't go into detail about his business because he doesn't want anybody sabotaging it. But I'm pretty sure he either, like I said, he either does really good there with Wisconsin, or knowing him, he would go out and set up a separate little office somewhere or something like that to facilitate, his savings and his business and everything. All right. So next order, when I get done here, I get to drive empty all the way back to New Holland, PA. So there you go. I get paid the same miles loaded or empty. So I get to be empty, weighing nothing, and I don't know, put like 400 miles, like 300 miles in, 400 miles in. But there you go. There's a reason not to mess around with the spot market, at least right now. But yeah, I guess, nobody else got really anything to add. So I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go, like I said, see what's going on here and why I'm not getting unloaded. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. So please hit the like button. Share this video out if you would like. If you thought it was educational or made a point. And this is Jackknife TV. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully, I don't lose my voice later. And take it easy, everyone. And just know that even though you're just one person, you are a steward of this industry. People, you might not think anybody's watching you or doing anything, but now with YouTube and just the public media and stuff, the things that you do reflect on everybody as a whole. So take care.